I'm glad to be here today in front of a fantastic audience. I would be speaking on girl power, breaking gender stereotypes. What enables a girl to bloom into a woman who is confident, independent, empowered, someone who inspires awe in every human being? It is finding her inner power. Today, as I stand here in front of you, I travel back to those yonder years of my girlhood days. To find myself, I had to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was a mixed bag, but I proudly own every moment of it. I'm an early childhood educationist. Education is one of the most important pillars of living an empowered life. I consider the girls who get a good education very fortunate because it is testimony to the fact that your folks believe in you, in your existence, and consider you worthy of it. But there are many others who crave to go to school, to pursue a career, to be somebody in their lives, and yet their reality is far from their dreams. Some of them don't even get a proper meal a day, assuming that they are a lesser gender, let alone an education. These girls fall into the abyss of societal pressures and biases, and they lose themselves in them. It is our social responsibility to handhold these girls and inspire them to look beyond their barriers. It's time our society starts doing away with these gender biases because they no longer hold any relevance. It is time that we break this vicious cycle of woman dominating another woman within the threshold of the house. It is largely our environment that shapes us. It shapes our behavior, the way we think, our views, our perceptions, our decisions, which finally create our reality. Therefore, to create an equitable society, we need very gender-positive dialogues in our surroundings. My foray into feministic activism goes back to my teenage days. I was a girl of your age at that time, trying to find an identity. I was also struggling to equate with the boys around me because I somehow perceived that they were a more privileged lot. I started to copy them, to dress up like them, and even I was labeled a tomboy in school. I was, in all probabilities, suffering from an identity crisis. During that time, we visited the Kamakhya temple located at the Nilachal hills of Guwahati with my mother. She explained to me the significance of the temple. Kamakhya is a girl goddess. It is a Shakti Peeth, revered for the yoni carved in stone. It is believed that a goddess bleeds once in a year, and that is the most auspicious time to visit the temple because at that time she is the most powerful. That day, when I entered the Sanctum Sanctorum, I could feel something engulfing me. Call it a vibe or an energy. I felt powerful. On our way down from the temple, I shyly asked my mother that why did we offer our prayers to the yoni? My mom said, because a woman is the womb of the universe. She is the creator and architect of life. it dawned upon me that what we girls consider a shame is actually our power. Well, the feminine power goes way beyond it. We all find ourselves in our small ways. I feel my belief in myself grew with my exposure to books. Reading opens one's minds to newer dimensions. For my graduation studies, I landed up in Miranda House, a girls' college in Delhi University. At that time, I took to reading. I remember that I used to occupy a seat in the college library quite often. The more I read, the more I understood the world around me. It opened my eyes. We girls would often gather in the canteen and discuss about various issues. Those were endless discussions on topics like gender bias, discrimination, why a girl is perceived by the way she looks or her body structure, and so forth. We Mirandians were a bunch of budding feminists, and we were determined to break these prejudices. During those students' years, I got inspired by a lot of stories. Kanaklata, a young girl who at the age of 17 became a martyr for the freedom struggle of our country. Chandraprabha Sekya, a social reformer and author, an activist, a freedom fighter as well, back then dared to step out of the norms and created waves. They were fine examples of girl power. There were many other role models who inspired me. Those were my moments of assimilating power in an organic manner in small capsules. I see that today's India has very accomplished girls. They are bringing accolades to the country, be it in sports or in other fields. They are CEOs of top companies, entrepreneurs, scientists. They even landed the Chandrayaan-2 on the moon. These girls are breaking the glass ceiling and making our country proud. However, there is another side to this coin. It baffled me to see the data of 2022, and it's the workforce data. Only 39 million women were employed as against 361 million men in India in the last year, and that's a whooping gap of 332 million. Only 17% of India's GDP is contributed by Indian women. Aren't these numbers mind-boggling? My question is, where are all the girls? Why are they missing from the professional space? I'm an entrepreneur, and I always wanted to be one. But the life of an entrepreneur is fraught with challenges, and those are never-ending. Probably that is why, in India, only 14% of women own or run their businesses. I met a lot of women who did their startups and within a few years closed them because they did not find them sustainable. They could not sustain their business. Being an entrepreneur is not a cakewalk. I struggled to set up mine. These 20 years, 2 decades of my work actually made me learn a lot of things, starting from making a project report to managing finances, recruitment, human resource development, brand positioning, and so forth. I even had instances where men refused to join the company because they did not want to work under a female boss. But to top it all, what I found the most challenging was finding a work life balance. To me, it was really difficult to run a family and a business at the same time. But in these 23 years of my career, I kept both of them intact. There were instances which were very unnerving. For instance, once there was a meeting with a very important client, and on the same day, same time, I had to attend a family function in my in-laws. I couldn't be at two places at the same time. I had to make wise choices. There were also many others who started or decided to judge if a woman like me is a good example. There were many conversations that revolved around who cooked our meals, if I found my time to tutor my son, and so forth. I found all of this extremely hilarious, but at the same time, I was very happy that I stepped out of the societal framework. I guess navigating through all these years, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it all brought me to where I am today. It is not about money, fame, recognition. It is about creating your own identity. It is about finding yourself and heaving a sigh of deep relief. One woman who never fails to inspire me is my cook. She is a lady who is uneducated, but wise enough to give her daughter a skill, empower her with tailoring. The daughter got married early, and by 18 she was a mother. Her husband regularly tortured her because she wanted to join a job, get some money into the family, and give her little daughter a better life. Well, cutting a long story short, her mother supported her to come out of that living hell. Kudos to such empowered mothers who raise empowered daughters. I also came across many women who are financially independent, who are educated, but at the same time, they are not able to strengthen their positions in their home. Like I said earlier, education is one of the most important pillars of living an empowered life, but it is not the only one. Emotional independence, a forward mindset, ability to take decisions are tools that help one break gender stereotypes. A lot of illogical and nonsensical expectations on our gender is inculcated in our minds in a very systematic manner. And we girls think that by abiding by those, we become good girls. A cliche, I would say. Never get the label of a good girl, because that is going to stop you from exploring the endless possibilities out there. Girls, remember, no one is going to give you anything on a platter. You have to go out there. You have to break the glass ceiling. You have to find your power, because it is right there within you. Thank you. And I take this opportunity to thank the Assam Valley School for giving me this platform to speak about a very pertinent topic. And this is the right time, as Navratri is going on. It's about girl power, it's about woman power. And I thank all of you for listening and being a wonderful audience. Thank you.